So what's going on, man? Coach Coombs in the building. How you feeling, man?
Man, I feel great. I feel great. Thank you for having me.
That's good. That's good, man. Hey, look, definitely appreciate your time, right? We know things are popping with the show and whatnot. So, it's glad to have you here. Glad to have
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Now, before I even get started, man, I saw that it looked like it's a Texas area code. So I don't know if you military or anything like where you from originally, man?
That's a big story. So I actually am ex-military.
Okay.
I did 8 years, 8 years in the Army. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, that's actually where I met my wife. Um,
Okay.
we met in Fort Hood, Texas, in 2008. But prior to that, I'm actually born and raised out of Waukegan, Illinois,
Okay.
about 45 minutes outside of Chicago. And then around 12 years old, that's when I moved to Texas. And I've pretty much been a Texas boy ever since then. I just moved to Miami last August. We came out here to just kind of start over, help my mother-in-law, and just kind of just get a new environment for the family, bring some different culture to the family outside of the Texas culture. So it was just a different move that I felt that the family all needed. And it's been a great move so far. A lot of big things I've got going on since I've been out here. So
Okay. All right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, once again, appreciate your service and
thank you.
everything there, man. So cool, cool. Now that's interesting, right? Because that leads me to another question I got for you now, right? So you originally from Chi-Town, Texas boy now, right? And then how you end up a Patriots fan, man? Like just how that happened.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. So that beautiful story all happened back in the day when I was a wee lad. I
Okay.
had turned on the TV one day and I saw the color blue and yellow, and they
Hmm.
were the Michigan Wolverines. And the quarterback at that time was Tom Brady,
Hmm.
and he was winning the games. And I just like what was another school or TV show? It was Sister Sister. Um,
Right.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they went to Michigan University. Um, they were Wolverines, if I'm not mistaken, in the show. So it was like
Okay.
little connections like that. Just because I think they went there. One of the boys went there because it's a good business school. And then when I was younger, I did research on that, and yeah, I found out that Michigan, University of Michigan, is actually a good business school. So it was just one of those things that I fell in love with in general. The school itself, and just loving the fact that Tom Brady was the quarterback there, and then he won the Rose Bowl, and then the Patriots drafted him, and then the story of him just taking over the reins and winning six with one team after that just became just it was one of those things where for 20 plus years I got to be the one person that everybody told to shut up, you a fool, you crazy, he ain't winning another one. And I just kept
Count them
counting.
up.
I just kept counting. I think one Super Bowl, I just I just went on Facebook and I said,
Hey, you know with that
somebody
emoji.
say, I think that was I think it was number 5. That's the one I just told
Okay.
everybody,
Okay.
oh, don't talk anymore.
Yeah, that was the one I think against Atlanta. I remember watching that one.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
that was
remember
the
watching
one.
that.
And the funny thing about that one, I was actually doing some barbecue, making some wings. We were having a Super Bowl party. I was cooking for it.
Okay.
And I'm the Patriots fan. Everybody else was Atlanta in this house. It wasn't even my house. I went to Dallas, by the way. Yeah, Dallas fans switch up real quick when they ain't in the Super Bowl. Tell you
Hey.
that much. But they will hop on any NFC team that's playing against the Patriots. I tell you that. But it was just the fact that the entire game is 28-0, and I'm just looking. I'm looking at the TV watching the game. Ain't no sweat in my face, ain't no panic in my eyes. There's one thing I know
Mm.
that nobody else pays attention to. Tom Brady does one thing better than anybody else. He can run a 2-minute drill in the first quarter. He can run a 2-minute drill with 5 minutes on the quarter. He can run a 2-minute drill with 13 minutes on the clock. It doesn't matter. The Patriots can run a 2-minute drill whenever they want to. So being down 28-0 with
Mhm.
only 2 quarters gone, that tells me nothing. I needed to be late in the third and they're down 28-0. Yeah, they ain't coming back from that. No, he gave the Patriots a whole half. I've seen them drop 30 in a half. So why can't they come back in the half? You all lay down, not them. They consistently stayed at their game plan, didn't change a thing. Only thing that could have stopped them in them 2-minute drills every time they got the ball back was
Mhm.
turnovers, and that's what they did not do.
That's a fact. No, that's 100% fact. That's something that they did very well during that dynasty run. Was Brady always stays composed and Belichick stays even kill the whole time. You don't know what's going on in his head, right?
Make some
So,
second half adjustment, but they'll wait to get to the locker room for that. They're not gonna do that
right,
on it because they're not gonna panic on the field. They're gonna
right.
make a proper on the field adjustments, but most of those other adjustments come at halftime. They're not big adjustments. There ain't much you can really do at halftime, but it's those things where you can sit down as a group and talk more. Without the crowd screaming and yelling, and you can get more things across to each other before you get back on the field after 15 minutes.
Most definitely, most definitely. Okay, okay. Cool, cool, man. So obviously to kick some things off right here, want to know, obviously you've been a part of, the R2L, the Refuse to Lose family for a while now. And I remember even just from the jump, seeing you on whatever episode that was. I know you brought the energy, man. I was like, who's this guy, man? Sir. So you brought the energy. So just that being said, how did you get your own show? How did I get, started with all that?
So my wife is my best friend. And
Oh,
between talking to her about Batman comics and football,
okay.
she has to hear everything. You
Okay.
know, she
Shout
was
out to
there with
wifey
all,
then.
yeah, she was there with all the little league coaching that I did. She saw so many players become something greater just from being with me for a season. So she sees the passion that I have for the sport. Hell, she saw a season. I went undefeated in Little League. I mean, not even Little League, flag football. My son was 5. I think he just turned 5. No athleticism in his body whatsoever. He plays center for me. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Do not play favoritism. You will play the position that I find for you that is suitable for you to get on the field. That's
Right.
how I look at that. So,
There you go.
buddy, you my center. And why did I do that? Because hell, he can snap the ball. It was really
Right.
good. I had a
Right.
quarterback that was my little Tom Brady. He could actually throw. He was a 7-year-old. He was really good. And I had some good weapons for him. I was destroying everybody, and I didn't know none of these kids. I beat. It was in Illinois actually because we stayed there for a little bit. That the tackle football coach for this Zion ZB team. He was the tackle for the 5, 6, and 7 year olds.
Mm-hmm.
We had a draft, so obviously I don't know none of these kids. I'm looking at cards and their numbers. He
Okay.
knows every single last kid he wanted on his team because he coached them all in tackle.
Right.
So the one player he did not put on his team, which technically you were supposed to, was his own son. Because why? His son wasn't, in his eyes, good. Not like his older son.
Right.
But he ended up on my team because I saw his speed, I saw his card, and I said, well, I wonder what it'd be like if he actually went on a winning team and got to, look at his daddy in his
Mm.
face. Oh, and that's exactly
Okay.
what happened. Because I went undefeated every game. Like nobody, I was taking my starters out. This is Little League. I had my aunts there, family members there. Matthew out here coaching these little kids like they grown men. Because I'm in here, they're getting interceptions. Well, here's the thing. If you actually thought you were gonna pass the ball on my team, well, what makes you think I wasn't gonna take it away from you? You don't get to have just one side of it. No, you got
Right.
to see
Right.
both sides of the field. Okay, I threw the ball too. Knew where to put it so you wouldn't pick the ball off. But I just like to
Mm.
run. I'm a running kind of guy. If you can't run for me, how are you gonna be able to pass? We got to have a good balance. But I was beating these teams 26-0,
Mm.
21-0. The coach who had because you had to play each team twice. I beat him twice. I beat him one game 30-0 and then 36-6. So we had to play each other one more time, and that was in the Super Bowl. Because his team, outside of playing me, he was winning.
Right.
I just wasn't losing. And we played that Super Bowl, and I was down 4 players because my quarterback unfortunately his grandfather had passed away, so he had to attend some things with the family, so he wasn't playing,
Right.
and that's quite understandable.
Of
I had a
course.
backup plan. I'm a good coach. I had a backup plan,
All right. All right.
but I didn't. I had a couple other players out. They were unable to show up. We just ended up winning 12-6. That's all.
Is it that's all? Hey, just
That's
drop
all.
the mic off that.
I didn't get to put up the big points because I was missing some key players, and that's
Right.
understandable. We had to make the proper adjustments, and they had us the same. I mean, he had a game plan because one of the players I had was destroying him the other 2 games, so he had a specific game plan to shut this one player down. The
Right.
thing is, if I catch what I think you're doing, I'm ignorant enough to continue to let you do it because there's a
Mm.
specific reason for that. I have a backup plan.
Right,
I'm
right.
going to keep feeding you what you think you're stopping. And
Mm,
while you remember these 5, 6, or 7 year olds now, you taught them one thing. I'm gonna
right,
feed them that one player you
right.
told them to stop. Well, you keep sending 5 people to chase him. You understand? So then when I sit here and fake hand off to him and go the other direction, and all 5 of your players are
Go the
looking at that
wrong
one
way.
kid, I got a whole other kid going the other way. You're not paying attention.
Mm.
You're not paying attention. You got to play a field. This is why my background is a football field. I play
Okay.
the field. Okay, I have a vision of the field.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And everything rises and falls off of leadership, right? You find a good team, good business, good church, whatever it is, and I'll show you a great leader, right? That's what one of my mentors have mentioned before. So good stuff, man. Good
Oh,
stuff.
to answer your question
Yeah,
about how I got my own show,
yeah.
me loving football so much, my bad. My
Right, we
wife
get to the
was
original
like, "Man,
question.
you should like start a podcast or something. Like get your voice out there, get your information out there. People will listen." So I did start like a Spotify podcast
Okay.
that I actually thought was doing okay. 1 or 2 people here, but on Instagram through that is how I met Joe. And he ended
Okay.
up listening to one of my podcasts one day. And then me and him ended up because he ended up friending me on Instagram from that. And then
Okay.
it was something specific me and him had talked about when we started like talking more. It was like he had asked me something about Washington defense, and I had meant something specific about Chase Young, where I called him Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney #2. Because there's one specific thing I do not like about defensive ends, and I can't call you defensive end, is if one lineman can take you out. Now I didn't see that Chase's rookie year, but it was weird that I saw it happen that second year. And at first, Joe thought I was like just talking, but then he went back and was watching tape for a few games that had started that season. He was like, "Oh crap, this dude is getting taken out by one lineman." You can
Right.
see that. Like again, I see the field very well. Um, so from there, we got to talking. I was doing my podcast show more and more. And then I started coming on the show with Joe doing the R2L show. And then one day he was just like, "Hey, coach, I like your podcast, but I think you need to be like, you need to have your face on the camera, and make your podcast go live." And I
Right.
knew it was a good idea, but for some reason, every time I try to do it, like it just wasn't. I don't know if I was using the right streaming services or if I wasn't getting the right type of production thing to do it. It just, I don't know, it just wasn't working the way I was trying to get it to work. And then one day Joe called me. Um, it was they basically telling me about basically Teddy's show, Carl's show, and basically that he wanted to do one with me where I basically focus on fantasy football. And so from there, because at first my other show was basically football as a whole. So I was basically doing wins and losses. I was keeping track of my predictions of teams throughout the weeks. I think that year that I met Joe was my best prediction year. It was like 270 something games to like they're gonna have like 88 losses or something like that,
Mm.
predicting from week 1 all the way to week 18. So it was a
Nice.
great year that year.
Nice.
But then we also do a lot of I talk a lot of good things about fantasy and stuff like that. He really likes the way I can mix the NFL with fantasy and separate it at the same time.
Mm.
And he just thought a show like that would be great for the people. So we kicked it off from August, where I can basically start the show. We're doing basic rankings of players. I mean, and from there, it's basically keeps off to where we're at right now.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. You kind of answered the next question. I was going to ask, why fantasy football? Yeah, but no,
Oh,
that's definitely dope, man. That's definitely dope. I will say this for sure, man. Once again, you've definitely been a game changer, from coming on the show. And I really mean that because I don't know, between you and Carl, they had to invest in the sensor sound effect to bleep some of
oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um, it's all good, man. It's all good. So cool, man. Cool. So sticking with fantasy football and everything. I know there's other podcasters out there. So are there any like podcasters or sports analysts that maybe inspired you or influenced you in any way?
no.
I said no.
Uh, Here's the thing. Um, there's not many people that can really change my mind when it comes to football. I mean, I'll walk back certain statements if I see something that maybe I didn't see, initially. I'll gladly walk it back. But most of the time, like my statements are firm on what. For instance,
Right.
you can sit here and tell me in fantasy football you want Stephon Diggs, and I sit here and tell you you a fool. You want to know why? Because you can be happy with them 1,200 yards he got you throughout the season. But come playoff time, where's Stephon Diggs' numbers at? Come December,
Okay.
when he can't catch in the cold, where them numbers at? Now you sitting here the playoffs. What, you happy about his 1,200 yards though, huh?
Hey.
See, that's the type of stuff. That's the information give to people. Like, I'm gonna tell you to not touch Stephon Diggs. Damn them 1,200 yards. What is that going to do for you come playoff time? Because he
Mm.
can't catch it in the cold. Come the late November, early December, going into January. Look at his numbers right now. The last 5 weeks, they're absolutely horrible. Why? It's cold outside.
You know
He
what?
gonna have a good game today. Then I don't.
You know what? I ain't mean to cut you off. I should have talked to you before this because he's on my team. And I see
I
exactly what
know.
you're saying. Exactly what you're saying is what's been happening. I've been looking at the stats.
And it's funny. My boss at work, excuse me, because I told him the same thing. And he came at me with his laptop and he got this big old spreadsheet of all these Stephon Diggs numbers. And he's showing me all these great games, 112 for the 2 touchdowns,
Mhm.
139, 1 touchdown. I said, Lance, what's the date on them numbers? Oh, that look like 9/28. That one looked like 9/8. Okay, that looked like
Yeah.
all September dates. Now, where them December? Oh, here we go, December. 4 for 25, 3 for 40.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's the part that's important to me. He has no longevity. He has a cutoff. And in fantasy football, why in the hell would you want to play with a cutoff? Now, if you want to pick him up now, trade him high later, that's a gamble you're trying to take to better your team later. But if you literally just talk about, oh, I got Stephon Diggs for the season, good luck.
He said, good luck. Nah, I feel
Obviously,
what I'm saying.
I don't know one person right now that's in the playoffs with Stephon Diggs.
Well, I would be one, but I don't know how long I'm gonna last in the playoffs. Because I'm
And
looking
he
at
might do it for you today. He might do it for you today just because it is a good game. It's in the dome. He might be all right today. And I even said, I even told people Friday on my show to go ahead and start Stephon Diggs.
got you, man. Cool, cool. Well, hey, look, speaking of that, I mean, competition is vital in everything, right? With sports. And so obviously the competition is getting pretty steep. There's a lot of podcasters out these days, a lot of other people doing fantasy football. So what makes fantasy football with Coach Coombs different? Why should people tune in to watch the show? What should they expect watching the show?
I'm not ESPN. I'm
Okay.
not. I'm just not. I'm not a gimmick. I'm not.
Mm,
I don't look at ESPN's numbers and tell you yes. I look at ESPN numbers and then take my brain and tell you what I feel is a better process for you. For example, how many people sat here and drafted Jonathan Taylor in the third, fourth round? Maybe, and that's probably where he slipped. Because ESPN kept him that high. You came on Coach's show, he was dropped down to the 70s. Why? But
mm,
he ain't been no weird. He ain't been no training camp. And
right.
now, buddy, it was known before even the season started he was gonna be on the IR for the first 4 weeks. Why on earth are you taking him in the third, fourth round when there are so many other players you can touch? If you can let him fall, let him fall, which means if you don't, when stuff like that happens, that's just a player you just don't need. Meaning, if he falls to you because everybody feels the same way, you can grab him in the seventh round, eighth round. Good. That means he can sit on your bench till he's ready to play. But every
Mhm.
single person that drafted him in the third, fourth round, you had Jonathan Taylor for 3 to 4 weeks because he was out for 4. He played for 3 to 4. He got injured. He's just now coming back with 3 weeks left. Playoffs is here, buddy. Y'all done been out.
See,
There wasn't no backup over there. Everybody already has Zach Moss.
right.
So what? There was nothing for you to go, but nothing in the waiver. By the time Jonathan Taylor went down, there was nothing on the waiver wire for people to touch. Rashad White was already popping off, so people have already grabbed him. James Cook was basically getting under his belt over here in Buffalo, and now they got activated Leonard Fournette now, so they going with a two-headed monster. So it's
Yeah.
I give people on my show real, vital, valuable information based on what I would and would not do. I have yet to have a person come on my show and tell me they have not made the playoff. Everybody so far that watches my show, they come on and have told me they're in the semifinals right now, like because of the information that I properly give them. Hell, I told one kid start Isaiah Likely this past weekend was a great choice. But when he said I'd rather take Trey McBride, he wanted the higher risk. I agreed with him for that purpose, not because I thought Trey McBride would do better, which he did. I agreed with the risk. You're in the playoffs right now. Why be coy with Likely if you believe the risk is greater? Because we all know Trey McBride is Kyler Murray's guy. It ain't Marquise. We all see that. So why not go with the higher risk of 4 points? And then he got it. Now, mind you, I think he still would have won with Isaiah Likely's 18. But we need the higher risk right now. We're in the playoffs. This ain't regular season anymore. We have to take them shots, basically. So that's the kind of information I'm gonna tell people. I am not ESPN and some of these other podcasts, even what is his name? Fantasy Football Counselor. He is one of the most ridiculous podcasters out here. I have no idea how he still has a show because he literally sat here and told people to take Bijan Robinson. I told people because he is the focal point of the offense, he is valued as a first round draft pick. And then I said, don't touch him. That's exactly what I said. I'm not, because I wasn't going to drop his value. I know what he's going to do there. His value, getting drafted the first 4 weeks, no defense is playing, he's going to go off. And then it's going to go just like this. Who did the opposite? The 4th, 5th rounder I told everybody else to get, Jahmyr Gibbs. Difference? You never take a running back in the first round as a rookie because he is going to be, that means what that tells you right there, the offense has nothing else. He's going to be 80% of it. What that tells the defense is by week 5, we're going to head and put 7 in the box. He's not doing nothing. Like he has done nothing all year. He has Jahmyr Gibbs started off slow, rest as he learned the offense because they have more. And now he's unstoppable. Where's Bijan?
Hey.
But the thing is, I couldn't drop his value due to the fact he is 80% of the target value. I mean, that's all they have. So he's gonna get him. But see, it's when they can't run the ball because they got to go to passing. And I told people with this Atlanta team, Bijan might not be the best thing for you to touch. There's other options. Let him fall. Nobody wants to let him fall. Everybody gets too excited about these false podcasters and the way they just what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to call it. Yeah, they false claim some of these players. Real talk. Like I don't know. I don't. A lot of it comes from media burst. You know who I told everybody to mess with? This is the information you're gonna get from colors. Sam Howell told everybody you take Sam Howell with the number 10. I'll take that back. Let me take that back. I told everybody you take Sam Howell with your last pick. You load up on all skill players, and then you got Sam Howell as your quarterback. Why? Eric Bieniemy is his offensive coordinator. And a lot of people who have had Sam Howell this year are in the playoffs.
True.
He has not played bad football. The team, the defense has played crap football. Not him. This is fantasy. This ain't about regular season. This is about fantasy. And a lot of people listen to Coach on that one. They picked up Sam Howell.
That's true.
I give, and how many, where in the media, where on ESPN was Sam Howell's name? Howell at one point was the leading quarterback in passing yards, by the way.
Yeah, facts.
He's top 3, I think, is still in passing yards, if not top 5. But he was the number 1 at one point. Where was the media before the season started on Sam Howell? But you got that from Coach. Coach knows football. That's the point. I know the sport of football better than my own draw.
Hey, I think a lot of those probably they might need to watch your show too, man. They might need to
I
watch
think
your
they need to
show too.
too. They might learn something.
They might learn something. So cool, man. All right, so I'm gonna shift gears a little bit once again. So I know we got a chance to speak briefly before the call, and it sounded like you was throwing down in the kitchen, man. I know you mentioned a little
Yeah.
with the food and everything. So were you preparing for the holiday dinner? Is that an event coming up? Like what's going on with that?
Actually, yeah, it's just actually a little get together we're doing at the house for a holiday Christmas party.
Okay.
Just I got my wife is inviting some friends from her job, and I'm inviting some from mine, and we're just doing a little something just for the holiday spirits.
Okay.
Just to have some little fun. But I am basically cooking for the event and just showing off my little culinary skills. Currently, I'm actually in culinary school here in Miami-Dade.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
one more year left. I do graduate in December of 2024 for my associates, and then I transfer to hopefully FIU to finish my bachelor's degree
Okay. Okay.
or a
Congrats.
master's. Really, I'm going for a
Yeah.
master's actually.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. We're praying for you for that, man, and that all that goes
Thank you,
well.
thank you.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. So
Because
cool.
I'm actually I'm leaving January 8th for Walt Disney World. I got hired. I got accepted into their culinary program.
Okay.
So that's gonna be fun. So hopefully I'll be able to
Wow.
do the show while I'm out there as well. If I got a good setup and everything, that'd be real fun.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Hey, look. Now that's pretty dope, man. Because I mean, hey, you always hear people say, "Where you going?" I'm going to Disney World, right? So,
Yeah.
so football, Disney, cooking. I mean, don't get no better than that for you right there.
Might be kicking for the Super Bowl champ because I'll be out there when they come.
Hey, why not? Why not? Right? That sounds good to me. Sounds good. So cool, man. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna shift gears again really quick. So speaking of the, refuse to lose, it's something that we like to do with, superlatives and everything and different scenarios. So why not why switch it up now? So let me ask you this. Who would you say if you all had a real life flag football game with the refuse to lose family? You already smelled it. All right. So who is most likely to be drafted as Mr. Irrelevant in a real life flag football game?
Mark.
You said Mark. You said Mark off the rip. Why is Mark?
I was gonna say Teddy at first, but nah, I have to put Mark. I gotta give Mark on that one.
Oh man, why is Mark Mr. Irrelevant? Why?
Because nobody want to listen to Mark. And sometimes Mark, if you listen deeply, he got something to say.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay attention, you're gonna miss what he's trying to say.
Right.
Sometimes it don't come off the way he wants it to, because everybody be ready to come for his head. But you're supposed to be hearing Mark sometimes, bro.
Yeah.
I don't be doing the silence Mark 2023. You know what I'm saying? I be hearing Mark. Like, put it this way. He was not wrong about Brian Robinson. Not just the injuries and little dinged upness he's dealing with. He's been their focal point
Mhm.
throughout the season. So he actually has been spot on. He may not hit the yards that Mark said, and that's again he's dealing with injuries, and that's he's been out a couple of games, so that may hinder that situation. But he's not been wrong about Brian Robinson.
Right, right. Most definitely. Shout out to Mark, man. Shout out to Mark, right? Fellow DMV, fellow commanders, right? So who would you have as the MVP though in the flag football game? Might be tough, huh?
MVP in the flag football game with this squad. You know
Mhm.
what? I only see one. I only see one athletic highlight. I know Joe be showing the drills. He show. He got the move. But somebody be out there on that court eating. You feel me? Okay, my
Okay.
man Vaughn be out there putting in their dirty work.
I knew that.
I gotta go with Vaughn as the MVP, man. Like,
Okay.
yeah, he gonna because I'm not sure who will be the one holding him, but he gonna snag about 2 touchdowns off somebody. It's gonna be pretty bad. I
Hmm.
think it's Vaughn for MVP.
Okay, okay. Respect. I can see that. I can see that. All right, cool, cool. So let's say this. Obviously, we know you're the guru when it comes to fantasy football. And there's been some talks. I got a chance to speak with Joe. I'm saying that maybe next year you all will have a refuse to lose family football fantasy event going on in the league, with the refuse to lose family. So that being said, let's just go ahead and say, let's grant you're in the championship, right? Who do you think will be that person on the opposite side of you playing against you in the championship? who would you have making it there?
If Dave is in the playoffs this year, because he won, I think he won or he was in the playoffs last year. If Dave is in the playoffs this year, it'll be Dave.
Mm.
Dave knows how to draft. Dave knows football. A lot of people again. There's certain things people don't pay attention to. Dave like to troll, and I think what happened because Dave trolls so much because he's like the best with people, he forget about his football mind. And I don't know if he does it on purpose, just so he can come back on him so he can be right about something sometimes. But no, his football aptitude is like very high up there. His knowledge of inner workings of the organization, that's the part that impresses me the most, because I know organizations, but I'm not that deep. I know enough to know the makeup of a team. Dave gonna get you inside the office. Don't know how he can get in there, but Dave inside the office.
He got the
So
keys.
with that being said, Dave got info that other people don't.
Right.
And that's scary because that means he knows how to build with that info. So yeah, I think it'd be Dave.
Okay. Respect, respect. Shout out to Dave, man. Shout out to Dave. Right. So big year for him coming up too, 2024, right?
Yes, yes.
So shout out to
Congratulations,
him.
Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're coming down, wrapping up down to the wire. So a few things of to expect. So just a quick minute. You don't have to go in too much because you probably, get a chance to speak a little bit more on it. But as a Patriots fan, what do you think they should focus on next season? Because obviously right now, it looks like it needs a revamp. So what do you think they should go in a direction next year, like in the draft and everything?
Quarterback.
Yeah.
Just go for another quarterback. They're gonna have the draft spot. That's gonna be very obvious. I think they only have 3 wins on the season right now.
Yeah.
The only team ahead of them is Carolina, I believe. They're going for a receiver. They need a weapon for their quarterback. They have their quarterback. They have a quarterback.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay.
But for the Patriots, it has to be a quarterback, and this will be the year. So here's what's going to happen. If Belichick stays, it'll be the year he moves and transitions to a mobile quarterback.
Hmm.
If he doesn't stay, because he leaves, he's not ready for that, which means he's going to take a job, i.e., he could take the Chargers job. Hell, he could take Atlanta's job. There's a few jobs where Belichick could, walk away from the Patriots and just, rebuild somewhere else. Maybe that's what he's looking for. Who knows? Um, Hell, Tampa need a coach. Baker Mayfield looking good. You think that's all on? You think that's all on Todd Bowles? No, that's all on Baker Mayfield. No. But
True.
he won't get fired if they go to the playoffs. But yeah, I think the Patriots would focus on quarterback. Absolutely.
Okay. Right. Makes sense. I expect them to do the same thing. Okay. All right, last two. So last one, what would you say? I kind of asked it a little bit earlier before, but now this is specifically for the upcoming year. So what should viewers expect for fantasy football with Coach Coombs in 2024? What should they expect going into the new year?
Ooh, it's gonna be pretty big. See, this
Okay.
year was a beginning. This year was just getting people, giving people a taste of what I
Right.
do. Um,
Okay.
See, next year we're about to get a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Next year, going to be adding DraftKings, FanDuel. Well, I'm gonna show you all how to do proper lineups there. Show people how to
Mhm.
properly use RotoWire to help build those rosters when you're doing. Because DraftKings and FanDuel is a whole total entity outside of just playing standard league fantasy football.
Right.
I hope people who play best ball are excited because we bring best ball into the show.
Okay.
Um, we're doing what's the other one? I'm bringing parlays onto the show. So I'll be talking to people about how to set up their parlays.
Okay.
And we will be bringing in. I might be bringing in actual betting, like the over and under. But I'm not sure yet. I still have research work I need to do before I give information out like that to the people. That's one thing I just can't do is give crap or false information. I just won't do it. Like I won't even
Right.
tell you who to start without me stopping and going to look at numbers first because I need to look at things. I need to look at how the game played out. I watched it, but I also need to look at the numbers to put things together. You sit here and tell me you want to start that running back from Baltimore, the little dude, because he had 9 carries for 123 yards. That's not sustainable. You can't do
Right.
that. Leave him alone. Do not touch him. Okay. Now, if you're looking for a running back that had 23 carries for 123 yards, that's who you go deal with. I think that was uh, 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 D Wick for is that Green Bay?
Mhm.
I think that's running back for Green Bay because they need one because they're dealing out. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
that's the type of stuff I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you, no, don't touch nobody with no 9 for. That's not a receiver. It's a running back. 9 for 20, 123. Nope,
True.
you
True.
can't touch that. So
Understood.
yeah, for 2024, yeah, we got a lot more content or a lot more a lot more content coming within just more than just fantasy start sits and lineups. Now we're bringing in, like I said, best ball. We're bringing in parlays. We're bringing in FanDuel, DraftKings stuff. We're bringing in all that good stuff. So I can now show people how to play fantasy football. Now it's time to show y'all how to win some money.
Gotcha. So you're gonna give them a lot of value. That's what it sounds like.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. And wrapping up, and very last question. If you don't mind sharing, right? What are some personal goals you have for yourself going into 2024?
To one to see how far this show can go. I don't want to make it too big, and I'm not trying to go too crazy with it. I have really good followers that enjoy the content that I provide. So the only thing I want to do is make sure for this show that the content just stays as exciting as it can be each and every year that I do this for them. You can sit down and talk about football every day, all day. I don't care. Like it's just something that I can do.
Right.
You bring up a topic. I hope you got 3 hours to sit down with me because we're gonna be here for a while, pimp. I don't know how to shut up with this sport. So the only way that's gonna help me is putting it on TV for everybody else to see it.
Understood. Makes sense, man. Makes sense. Hey, well, look, man, I definitely appreciate your time on here. Hopefully the viewers will enjoy this episode. I think they will. I think it's been the
Absolutely.
best interview so far, right? I think it's been good. And like I said before, man, I'm in the playoff. You done spoke on a lot of people that's on my team, so I might need to call you after this. I'm gonna screenshot my roster and send it to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So cool, man. So other than that, man, we definitely, like I said, appreciate your time. Hopefully people check it out and be on the lookout for 2024. Some big things are happening.
I tell you what, if y'all want to go into the playoffs, come watch Coach's show. Everybody at work that talks to me, who I've helped with a roster from their draft, are in the playoffs. I actually have 2 people who I literally drafted their rosters for them. I basically told them make sure this is who they need to take. They can't get this person, make sure they get this person. I basically helped walk them through their draft.
Wow.
One was in first place, one was in 4th place. They played each other last week in the playoff. This week is their second week in the playoffs to see who basically will go into the semifinals. I helped both of them draft their rosters.
Wow.
Same league.
Mm.
If there's a player that has a position on the field, I know if he should be on your roster or not. Y'all could be 4 people in the same league. You have all 4 of y'all get to the playoffs. Doesn't matter. There's always somebody to grab. There's always somebody to pick. The waiver wire is there for a reason.
That's true. That's true. Well, look, I hope people's listening, man. There you have it. Right. There you have to make the playoffs, man. Holla at the guru, man. So once again, appreciate your time, man. And big things. Looking forward to your success. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.